Well, let's start with the obvious. How's Flynn? And has anybody picked up anything, or have you got the squad from the weekend plus?
No, I think we're pretty much the squad from the weekend plus hopefully Flynn. Yeah, so he's trained today, and we'll see how he reacts. But he said he felt fine, felt good. So fingers crossed that that's the case for tomorrow. But yeah, everyone is in a good place. I think we recovered well. We've learnt as much as we can from Saturday, and so we said it was a big week at the start of it, and it certainly is.
Does it make it harder to pick the midweek team when you don't win the first game because you draw? Does it put a bit more worry about swapping things around?
No, I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think we let that dictate really. So you always have 3 games. You have a team in mind for each one. What changes that is about performance, not the outcome really. So how did someone perform? How are they feeling physically now? What was the plan before and why would we change it? So analyse it before and then after. So the team is probably very, very similar to the one I already had in my mind. And then when we discuss it and we go at length, maybe there's one or two changes in there. Obviously, Flynn was due to play on Saturday. So big loss for us in such an important position, but I thought Shay did really well. And then Joe Rebo coming in did brilliantly. So there's always a surprise in there and someone who gets an opportunity you maybe don't expect. And he was ready for that. And like so much of football is about timing and opportunity. And when you have an opportunity, you have to be ready for it, and Joe was, and he took it brilliantly. So, but there are 3 games. He hasn't played a huge amount of minutes, so you have to take that into consideration as well. So there's lots to think about, but has it veered too far away from the plan because of the result? No, not really. I think Watford have been in really good form. We're frustrated with some of the things, and there was some brilliant stuff as well. But the energy just wasn't quite where it was in the previous 2 or 3 games before that. So. And I think we have a really good chat with the players. They're really involved in everything and have an understanding of why the spark wasn't quite there. And it's not always there. It's really, and sometimes if it's not going to be there, you need to find a way to win, and we didn't. So it is frustrating, but it's also we're in a really positive place. We only can focus on ourselves, and I'm sure we'll be better tomorrow than we were on Saturday.
Nothing against Shay or anyone else in midfield because he's had a really good little spell of late, but Flynn Downs is a case of you realise how good he is sometimes when he's not there. And when I looked at that last 20 minutes, you think how he drove the team on at Millwall and hurling the last 20 minutes when everyone's tiring. That relentlessness is something that not everybody can do all the time.
Yeah, he's a leader, and so like you're replacing someone with hundreds of games at this level with someone who's played 9, started 9 games. So it's going to impact the team somehow. But I think Shay did brilliantly, and Shay is a really brilliant signing for this club for now because he's impacting the team, and also for the next however long, so 3 or 4 years, hopefully longer, because he's an outstanding young talent and made a decision as a football club to go down that route and invest in young players and exciting players, and with that sometimes comes mistakes. It comes, you're learning on the pitch as you go, but I think he's getting better and better. I thought he did great on Saturday, but of course you're going to miss someone like Flynn, and in such an important position for us as well. So, Shay and Flynn. Shay is pushing Flynn all the time. Flynn is helping Shay a lot. But yeah, I think Flynn's been so influential and important. Of course, he's going to affect the team a little bit in terms of how it flows and how it moves, because the team's been so settled. And like we spoke about it a lot, Gavin, those 2 guys, and Flynn, that like the fulcrum, the base of the performance, the foundation of a performance, really. So I think when like Man City, you look at their form without Rodri in the team. That position, that like number 6, the pivot, is so important. And when you have one that is really top, it's difficult to replace. But I think Shay is also going to be very, very top, and is a more than capable person to push Flynn and also play when Flynn's not on form or he's not there.
I was slightly frustrated by Sekou Mara's substitute appearance on Saturday. I thought Shay held the ball up very well till you had to take him off. But then he played really well off the bench. So how does he become a consistent player at this level?
Yeah, I thought Sekou actually did fine when he come on. Like it's a difficult moment to come in. He had a couple of good moments. He runs to goal once when the ball should go to him and it doesn't, and he should score. And it's like those moments can change the course of someone's season. So I've been really, really pleased with Sekou over the last couple of weeks. I thought he come on against Cardiff and was excellent. But it's really hard as someone to come on quite late in a game to really impact it. And the only reason Shay come off is because he physically fatigued a lot and he hasn't played a huge amount of minutes. So in an ideal world, at that moment, someone, again, you're replacing such experience with someone so young. It's different, but at the same time, we have to be brave enough to put the young guys in. and we have some really outstanding ones. Like Sam Meadows has been so frustrated to not be on the pitch so much recently, and looking back, should I have brought him on and tried to get this? Probably, like, make mistakes and you learn from that in the game. I think the subs on the whole have had really good impact, and then you look at it on Saturday and you can definitely do stuff different, but you have to go on a feeling and like instinct at that moment. And Sam will come again. He'll be a really important player for us this season. I've got no doubt about that. He's trained brilliantly. Sekou trains brilliantly. The guys who are not in the team, they train brilliantly today when we do some extra stuff with them. And they're all frustrated and disappointed, and you have to accept that. Like I said to them at the end, as long as they train properly and they add value to their teammates, then like if they don't want to smile and be happy with me and be frustrated with me, like I completely understand that. You want them to be a sense of frustration and disappointment, but then to have an edge in training with it and to use it in the right way, and they do that, this group. They're really fantastic, and they're pushing each other. So Sekou, what he has to do to be a consistent performer is get on the pitch more, and that's, unfortunately for him, he's not in control of that. What he is control of is like every day, how he turns up, to be really present, to be really aggressive, and he's physically has so much potential, technically so much potential, but to bring that to the fore every day. And I think with Sekou genuinely is to think less and just start playing on instinct. And it's a really difficult balance with our team when there's probably at the start a lot to think about. This is very different, but now we're in a point, I think, where they definitely need to start thinking less and play with feeling and intuition and instincts. They know where each other are going to be on the pitch, and just to back themselves, and the balance between structure and position, but then to go wild at times when they need to. And I think we didn't have enough of that at Cardiff. There was like a free spirit in the final third. We created a lot. People running aggressive. Against Watford, not so much. So it's a really difficult balance, that, when you want structure and control in the game, and it's up to us to help them find that. But it can often be like murky waters. It's not a really simple balance. Do you know what I mean? So it's tough to attain.
But what's nice to hear you say that is the sort of myth that you want just total control all the time.
We don't want robots. Yeah, and like we want as much control as we can to get to a certain area of the pitch, and then after that, like, the guys need to let loose and be the players they can be. And again, we try and help them with a couple of bits and a couple of principles, but from our goal to the final third, if we don't do things properly in a certain way, it's sort of pointless. We don't get there as much as we should, but we spend a lot of time there in the final third, the opposition final third, because of them bits. Then after that, like, let loose and express yourself and be free. And because the guys at the back take incredible amount of perceived risk, or what people would call it, the courage that takes. So in the final third now, there needs to be more like, the lads need to enjoy themselves.
As a young manager, you must be hugely impressed with Mark Robins and the job he's done, another former Norwich man, of course, but also to take that club and through all the times they've had and no ground and everything else, and to get from League Two to the playoff final. I mean, it sort of doesn't get enough. I don't think he ever gets enough credit for the way he's been a manager.
Him and Adi, incredible job, and now they have Dennis alongside him as well. And I have so much respect for them too as people. Well, all three of them and their staff, and as people first and foremost. And then you look at the job they do and they've done and continue to do, and what that club's been through and everything they've been through with that club. It's incredible, absolutely incredible. And I have so much respect for them. I always enjoy seeing them after games. Mark's been someone from afar that's supported and helped a lot in his own way, and with not a lot of conversation, but even when I bump into him or speak to him after a game, he's always got a really brilliant, like, bit of advice, or just they've been amazingly consistent and successful. And I think they have so much like unity in their group is why the club's been able to do what they do and to get to the playoff final last year. And it was no disrespect to Luton and Rob, because I really like Rob as well, and I played with Rob. And it was kind of, but to watch that journey, to see them get to the Premier League would have been amazing, because the people they are, the energy it takes to do this job for how long they've done it there, just incredible. So a huge amount of respect, but I really want to beat them tomorrow. But yeah, you're right. Maybe he doesn't get I don't know why. Maybe, I don't know. People in football really appreciate the job he's done and respect it and understand how difficult what they've done is. So maybe outside he doesn't get it, but I don't think it would bother him one bit. I don't think that's how he's built. So always enjoy. It's always a challenge as well, playing against this team tactically. I always enjoy that, and I look forward to catching up with him after. But he'll want to win, and so will I. I
watched them against Birmingham. We know roughly how they're going to play, and of course, Callum O'Hare returned, massive influence, not just the goals, but having him there back in that Coventry team, and they'll get Matt Godden back tomorrow night. They might even be even better than they were on Friday.
Yeah, so again, like two players that have been on the journey with them and improved and stood up to it every single step of the way. And Callum was a big loss for them when he got injured. Really good player at this level. Obviously, was a lot of other clubs interested in him before his injury. So, you know, I'm sure he looks like he's getting back up to speed very, very quickly. But they have a team full of players that have been on the journey, and then they've added some real quality in and amongst it. A couple of players I've worked with at Swansea, and Jake Bidwell and Joel Atabodia, who character-wise, and I think the biggest strength they have is their character as a group and their togetherness and just the personalities having that group, their willingness to fight and run for each other. It makes it a difficult game. So I'm really looking forward to it. Every game is a different challenge this week. So Watford was a challenge and was a bit different to the one we probably expected in terms of the way they set up. But like I always say to you, you're making like an educated guess on the opposition. So I said to the players, maybe prepared them for something that it didn't come out on the pitch the way we maybe thought, but then you have to be ready to adapt. Is why we try and prepare for everything. And then Coventry will be another challenge, and then Blackburn after that will be a different one, like a really different one to Coventry. So it's it keeps you on your toes, and I'm looking forward to it.
Harrisel, a great third chair to get on the score sheet again on Saturday. I think he scored in bursts. It's not this simple, I'm sure, but during his Saints career, it's been 3 and 3, 3 and 3, 3 and 3 at the start of this season as well. The former manager Ralph Hasenhüttl described this goal as like a catch-up ball. I mean, is he somebody that needs to feel confident, to feel needed, to feel important, to go on a run and due back into?
I think every player is. I don't think that's unique to Shea. And they're playing in a position where you're only judged on like putting the ball in the back of the net, so it's really difficult sometimes. And also he's not played as much football as he would have wanted to for various reasons. He started the season so well, and then with the uncertainty of the transfer window and all that stuff, and then by that point his mate is banging in goals and playing really, really, really well, and then we change shape a little bit, someone else is playing there, so he's actually really patient, and he gets his chance at Preston and gets injured, so it's been a bit stop-start for him. But the whole time he's remained a brilliant professional, brilliant teammate. But you can see he was carrying a little bit of tension or whatever you want to call it. It's difficult when, as a striker, you're desperate to score and also like impact the team. He doesn't just judge himself on goals, but he felt he wasn't offering enough at times. And some really brilliant conversations with him. And he's again like what we're talking about there, of Adam. He needs to. Hopefully a goal frees him up a little bit because he's a really fantastic footballer. Like the way he links up with the team on Saturday, I thought he was excellent, arriving to help his team from the top line, strong, positional discipline, presses like a beast. So he has everything we need, but it's just about him enjoying it and feeling really valued, and also like just freeing up a little bit because it's very different to the job he's been asked to do. As he's big and he's physical, so a lot of his career, I'm pretty sure, the role he's been asked to do is very, very different to what we're asking him to do. So the goal will do him the world of good. His mate setting him up will do him the world of good. Another goal contribution from Armour and from Wee Man with a cross as well. So we have some really brilliant options. Shea hasn't played for a while, so 3 games in a week might be a big ask for him. But he's going to be heavily involved for us, and especially with Ross getting injured as well, he needs to be really ready, and got no doubt he's going to have a big input for us.
Something that has been really consistent, really set up this season is the away end, to be fair. They sell out every single week.
Amazing.
Sold out Saturday, sold out really quickly this Wednesday as well.
Yeah,
and I know you always go over to sort of give them a bit of credit at the start of the game, but how important, I suppose, have they been for you?
Yeah, like massive. So my son was there at the game on Saturday, my brother, my uncle, some friends. And they loved it. Like they've been amazing. Like even at home now, that it started off difficult at the start of the season because again, they're watching something very different to what they have been used to, and also the feeling around the place because it's not been a huge amount of success at home in particular. We're in a good place now, I think, at home, and so you understand it takes a bit of time, and then they have me talking to them all the time about being patient and encouraging the players to be brave, but they want to see their team win. So they've been really, really huge, and the best bit is to see them like chanting with the players again and singing some names, and the players enjoying their moments with them celebrating. Like I've loved that. At the start of the season when we scored, it was a little bit, I said to the lads, you need to start enjoying it more and feeding off it more, and now actually I'm seeing that. I love that because there was still a little bit of tension I felt earlier on in the season, even when we scored, and maybe people not really letting themselves go and celebrating. And now I think it's in a really different place, energy-wise. And the away fans been incredible to sell out again on a Wednesday night at Coventry. That's not like, my son's been peppering me to go, and I can't find anyone to take him there on a school night, so he's furious. So he'll watch it at home with my other kids, his brother and sister, and a few friends. And but yeah, so for them to do that again is amazing, and hopefully it's a sign of they're enjoying their team and they're feeling proud of the team that they're watching and their team. So, and we are always going to be the team we want to be wherever we play. We're going to do everything we can to be that team. So it's not always going to be smooth or easy, but I hope they're enjoying seeing their players being so brave. And hopefully we can keep building that energy, because it's been really nice to be a part of.
Did you think about asking Adams? I'm sure he wouldn't mind looking after him for anything.
Yeah, he can come and sit. Yeah, I'll tell you what, he knows more than me, so he's more of a purist than me, though.
I'll look after him.
Just finally, there was a report in a couple of national newspapers yesterday morning that Everton apparently want Mason Holgate to come back, so they played up minutes. What's your understanding of that?
Yeah, there's been no conversation as far as I know. So Mason's like anyone. He come in the team after a difficult start, did really well, and then again he can't do anything else. He played really, really well. He's been a really good teammate, and then I took him out of the team because I felt that Yanni deserved his place back after being suspended. So the most frustrating thing for any player at that point is like he can't control that. That's my decision, and also that decision is tough. Like it's I've left someone out for the game tomorrow that has been, really great, and he's really frustrated. That conversation is not easy, and when you choose to feel with the players and really care about them is horrible conversation, horrible. Like that's why leadership can be very lonely sometimes, and you feel that. You feel the weight of that. You feel the frustration they feel towards you at that point. You feel the anger they feel towards you at that point, and it's difficult, right? But they should all want to play. So Mason's been a victim of that. He hasn't done anything wrong. In fact, he's not played recently, and he's been fantastic training. He's looked the player that I knew we were signing, and when he came back in the team at West Brom, Preston, got better and better. And now, because of the way the other guys have done, he's out of the team, not because he played poorly. So it's frustrating for him. So I don't know. I can't sit here and say, he's definitely staying. Would we want him to stay? Yeah, because he's been great as a teammate, his energy around the place. And when he's got on the pitch the last few times, he's been really good. But I also understand for himself, he'll probably want to play more minutes. He's come here to play, and he hasn't done that as much as he would like. And probably for Everton as well, it's probably frustrating. So I'm sure there'll be conversations between Jason and Everton and maybe Mason's agent at some point. But until that becomes anything of real interest to anyone, then I don't think it'll come to my door anyway. So when it does, we'll have to just deal with it if it does.
It may be too early to say that, but if he was to leave in January, would the club have to be forced to do something to replace him?
No, I don't think we'll be forced to do anything. I think we're in a good place in that position. We've got one of the best centre-backs I've worked with now chomping at the bit and waiting to get into the team, and he's our captain. So again, that's like, it's difficult. He's desperate to play. He was so good for us before he got injured, and then he's got a real competition with those two, and now Mason as well, right? So it's a great position to be in. It's really difficult, but it's brilliant problems to have. So I don't think we'll be forced into anything now. I think we're really clear on what we want or what we think the team needs. I don't think that's changed too much in the last 5-6 weeks, and we continue to work on trying to do the best we can in those positions, really. You're going to ask me what positions are, aren't you? And I'm not going to tell you, so...
That's what just...